Joe Smith Jr. is coming off some good wins. He stopped Andre Fonfara in one round. He also knocked out Bernard Hopkins. He's very hungry. I believe he still works a day job, Joe Smith Jr., as a construction worker. So he's looking to elevate his career and take it to the next level where he can make life-changing sums of money. He's got a very tough assignment on July 15th against Sullivan Barrera, somebody who is a very solid, capable light heavyweight contender himself. But in the build-up to this Barrera fight, Joe Smith Jr. was asked about the prospect of possibly taking on somebody like a Sergey Kovalev. I'm going to quote Joe Smith Jr. directly here. This was his response. He said, "I'll be willing to take that fight. That would be a great opportunity. I would love to fight Andre Ward. I would love to fight Kovalev or Stevenson. Any of them. We'll see. We've got to get past Sullivan and see what happens next." So those are the words of Joe Smith Jr. No hesitation, no ifs, buts, or maybes. He said, "I will take the Kovalev fight if it's offered to me." That's what you call a hungry young fighter. And he's obviously confident because, again, he did something which Kovalev couldn't do in stopping Hopkins. And he did something which Stevenson couldn't do the first time around, at least, in stopping Fonfara. There are certain factors that we have to take into account, which Joe Smith Jr. might not be taking into account. The fact that Hopkins, as a very old man, had been out of the ring a long time between facing Kovalev and facing Joe Smith Jr. And the deterioration that can happen in a fighter at that age with such a long layoff is not to be underestimated. So, that's at least a factor we have to take into account when it comes to the Hopkins fight. But still, Joe Smith Jr., understandably, is very confident. And, he wouldn't hesitate, he says, to take an opportunity to fight Kovalev. With or without Kovalev having a belt. He'll fight Kovalev, he'll fight Stevenson, he'll fight Ward, any of those guys. I'm now going to quote one of Joe Smith Jr.'s team. Let me get his name right here, people. I'm reading from an article. His name, he has an Italian name, I believe, here. Where is it now? DeGuardia. Okay, this is the guy's surname. I believe he's someone in Joe Smith Jr.'s team. I can't find out here in the article exactly who he is in Joe Smith Jr.'s team. I may have quoted him before. But he says, "It fits beautifully. Could you imagine a Smith-Kovalev fight at the Garden? It'd be on HBO, and with the kind of crowd we'd get, it'd be huge. So I would look forward to that. Now, they might still say it's Kovalev versus Smith, not Smith versus Kovalev, but whatever it is, it's okay. We're looking for a nice big one in the fall, but he's got to get by Sullivan Barrera. That's a tough fight, and he's got to stay focused on that fight, which I believe he is. He's grounded. That's what I like about him." So again, those are the words of Mr. DeGuardia. I wish I could find Joe DeGuardia. That's his name. Joe DeGuardia is the individual I just quoted, and that is indeed Joe Smith Jr.'s promoter. He's definitely one of the smaller promoters around. I haven't heard his name too often. So that was the words of Joe DeGuardia, Smith's promoter, talking about the possibility of some big fights for Joe Smith Jr. if he can get past Sullivan Barrera. And Sullivan Barrera is no walk in the park. Believe you me. Just because Andre Ward was able to beat him comprehensively, it don't mean anybody else will. That's a tough fight for anybody. Or at least a tough fight for most fighters out there, Sullivan Barrera. Barrera is very big. He's strong. He's got decent boxing skills. He's got plenty of heart. Decent athleticism. He's a tough fight for anybody. And I'm actually looking forward to this Joe Smith Jr. Sullivan Barrera fight. I think it could be a very, very good matchup indeed. And if Joe Smith Jr. manages to dispatch of Sullivan Barrera in similar fashion to the way he did Bernard Hopkins and Andre Fonfara, then the whole division and the whole of boxing really has to sit up and take notice of Joe Smith Jr. We can't just keep saying, well, he caught Hopkins at the right time because Hopkins was old, and he caught Fonfara cold in the first round, and maybe Fonfara could beat him in the ring. We can't. We're gonna have to stop saying that if he's able to dispatch of Sullivan Barrera. We have to sit up and take note then, So let me know what you think in the comment section below, people. Would you like to see Joe Smith Jr. against a Kovalev, an Andre Ward, and Adonis Stevenson? I personally think he should have been the guy fighting Stevenson rather than Andre Fonfara last time out. I mean, he knocked out Fonfara, so why wouldn't Stevenson fight him instead of Fonfara? Seems ridiculous to me that he wasn't in there. How would he do against any of those guys? How is he going to do against Sullivan Barrera? Let me know in the comment section, people. It's happening. I'm out.